Welcome, Postables! We are gearing up for a very special occasion, Rama Drama! Yay! And to celebrate Rama Drama, a very special guest who will be at Rama Drama, and a very special book that is coming out that she authored. Please welcome Rachel Fordham.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
This is interview number
Three.
Okay.
Three that we've done, but this is the first on Hallmarkies podcast. So
Correct.
we're introducing you to a whole new plethora of people.
Yes.
Yay. That's exciting.
So we are your hosts. I'm Cammie, and you know Jess.
Hello.
And Kaycee.
Hi, everybody.
So the book that Rachel has recently authored and will come out for sale soon is Where the Road Bends. Yes, we all have our copies.
And what a beautiful cover. If you can
It
actually
is
see
such a
it
gorgeous cover
from the background. There we go. Oh, I disappeared.
Here, allow me, ladies. I don't have a background for it to disappear. But yes, the beautiful land, and then just a woman, presumably Nora.
I would think so.
But no, I love how it shows the gold in her hair compared to the gold in the wheat, and then this beautiful scene down below, and then the script is very beautiful right there. So yes, Where the Road Bends by Rachel Fordham. Now, I would like to begin this chat with a very, very special paragraph in this book. And it goes a little something like this. Do you see the woman with the oversized hat? Nora glanced toward the seats. With the feathers? Yes, that's the preacher's wife, Leah Townsend. She's sweet and calls everyone a dear child. I once even heard her call a woman older than her that. She looked harder at the stands, and beside her is Jessica Bossy. She's married to the head of the bank. He plays on the team from the south of town. She comes in the cafe with her friend May Simpson and talks forever. She's very loud, so I can hear everything she says.
Well, you know me, always so loud.
Always so loud.
And might we just I'm sure this was left off on the cutting board over there, but Jessica Bossy's husband's name is Gilbert.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. From the last book. Yeah.
I stole him away.
I have this rule that when I put in friends or people I want to give a little nod to in the book, that I will write the whole book. And then I'll go back and swap out names without changing any of my writing, so they kind of get what they get. Otherwise, it gets in my head and I'm like, oh no, will they like it? Or, I overthink it. It kind of takes away from it. So, but it's very, very fun to throw in some little hellos to people that I care about. So,
yay.
Even if I'm putting a hat with oversized feathers.
I sort of expect to see you in that at Rama Drama. So. And if you don't call me dear child, I might cry. Just kidding.
Well then, expectation has been stated. So, Rachel, question number 1. What inspired Nora and Quincy? What inspired these characters who I fell in love with immediately? I don't know about Jess and Kaycee, but I fell in love with Quincy and Nora very quickly.
So every story kind of has a lot of different trigger points, but for this one, I was thinking about the story Les Mis, which this is really nothing like Les Mis, but I was thinking about it and how one choice kind of changes the whole trajectory of his life. And so I started thinking, I want to write a character like that. So clearly I needed him to have, he had to have a life that he could change from. So he couldn't just be your regular old, like everything's going good kind of guy. for him to have that moment. And so that was sort of the catalyst for this story, was trying to come up with a story that I could have someone just go through that really like life-changing moment all at once, and then sort of to follow the consequences of, you know, that moment. So that, I think was the major moment of, okay, I think I can build a story around this. So yeah, and I love it. Hang on, I want to tell you something funny about the cover, because I know you guys like trivia. So this cover is not the original cover that they sent me. This is the first book that I have said, can you give me a different one? So they do such a beautiful job at the publishing house, but the original cover they sent me, I think didn't feel like it captured the story the way that I wanted it to. And so I was really happy when they sent this one back, but her hair was very brown. And I said, no, it kind of has to be like, it has to be lighter, like, you know, kind of angelic is sort of how he sees her. And so then they changed that. And then right before they kind of finalized the cover, I said, wait a second, it has a zipper down the back of her shirt. You have to take the zipper out. And so, so those are kind of some fun little trivia about that, but I'm really happy with it. And I think it really captures just sort of the feel of the story.
Well, I agree. It captures the story very, very well. And we're not going to do any spoilers right now because the book is just coming out for sale. But right. Can I just say that twist? I never saw it coming. It was a completely different storyline than what I had in my head of where it was going to go. And I'm just sitting there reading going, what? just reading very nicely. And then my eyes just bug out. And I go, so, wow.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a nice twist. And I think the book has some nice conflicts. And so this is your 5th book, and I felt like this one had a different feel to it. Like, I don't know if it's the correct word, but it felt a little grittier, like with some of the topics. Do you think that's going to surprise any of your readers?
I don't know if it really will surprise them, because I think that all of my books I've never really tried to shy away from, you know, real life. It's just that some of these topics hadn't touched the other books as much. So maybe a little, but I think everything's still handled really tastefully. I tried to be really careful. Like my 16-year-old is reading it right now. And speaking of the plot twist, it was really funny because he came down, like he'd already gone to bed, and he came down. He's like, "Mom, what's going on?" You know, he got to that part. And so, but I actually really enjoyed, not necessarily the grittier, like I'm happy to tackle whatever story is kind of organic to my characters and what they're facing. But it was very fun to write a book that had a little bit different pacing, because, you know, it didn't follow that same, like there's some jumps in time and stuff that were, you know, kind of made it feel a little bit fresh and new for me writing it. And maybe it felt a little bit different too, because I wrote this book at the very beginning of the pandemic, like right at the very beginning. My husband was he's a dentist, and they had just told him that he could only see emergency patients, so he was home all the time. My kids were suddenly home from school, which was new. And so I think that there was, you know, we had a lot of uncertainty and stuff in our own lives, and I think you can feel a little bit of that come through as I'm allowing my characters to feel a lot of uncertainty and still hope at the same time. So.
Well, and hearing that it was at least in part inspired by the story of Les Mis, that makes so much sense now. Right. That makes so much sense. And that just makes me enjoy what I've read more. So because I love connections. So that's kind of, the gates have opened even wider and go, oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes if I'm struggling to I have a million ideas, but if I'm struggling to really develop one, I will go, what's a story I love? what if I threw that in a different time period and then just sort of like let it go? Like it's like this little seed that you plant and then it kind of just turns into its own story, you know? And so yeah, I mean, Les Mis is heartbreaking, but I think it's hopeful too. And I hope that I think this one is too. I mean, I think that there are some very romantic and funny scenes mixed in, you know, with all the life.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I feel like now I need to go read or watch Les Mis because I haven't done either to shock. I feel like I always shock people.
Well, I've never
every time we
seen it
have you
either.
on.
So.
Cami is horrified. Last time I horrified Kaycee with not having seen or read Anne of Green Gables. Now I've horrified Cami.
Yeah.
I have the book. I just haven't read it.
It's
Same with Anne of Green Gables. I have a book.
Well, look what you'll be doing on your road trip.
I need things. I'm going to be reading all these books and I'm going to be writing, and it's going to be great.
So you've got plenty to do for all.
I guess we don't. The
trips.
listeners don't know. I'm going on a 2-week road trip, so I need things to do.
Well, and then the plane for Rama Drama. You've
Oh,
got
yeah.
plenty to do.
Well, speaking of connections, one character you brought back to Where the Road Bends, somebody who appeared in A Life Once Dreamed.
Yeah.
Was that
So
a
one of
conscious
my
decision?
favorite things is to write I love them to be standalone so that you could pick them up and you could read them and not feel totally lost. But I think if possible, it's very fun to give nods to the other books. If it works, you know, I'm not going to force it, but I think if you read this one, you'll pick up on, if I remember right, at least 3 of my other books are sort of mentioned in it. I think that you will notice there's a little nod to the Dead Letter Office.
Postables, you will enjoy that.
Which was fun. And it worked out just right. I was trying to decide exactly what year to put it. And I was like, oh, well, if I do this year, then it connects, like it would work for all these things. But yeah, a lot of people were messaging me. I think that let's see, A Life Once Dreamed would have hadn't been out very long. And I was getting a lot of messages about, you know, like desire to know what happened with the secondary character in that story. And it was very easy to just sort of have him pop up in this one. And I just think that every character should get a happy ending. And so I got a chance to give him that, which was fun.
Which I am grateful for, because my heart went out to him in that book. And I'm like, he needs somebody.
Were you happy with who he ended up with?
I am. I'm very happy. And I think it's actually for the best, because when I read the original book he was in, A Life Once Dreamed, right?
Yeah.
I felt really bad for him like the whole time, and it was just like it tugged on my heartstrings. So I'm very pleased he got his happy ending this one.
Right.
Yeah. And you all know I love A Life Once Dreamed, but even I was like, but Sam, you can't just like pick him off. I was very pleased with how his
he got to
story.
be someone's first choice, where I think in his other scenario he would have been someone's backup plan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
And who wants to be a backup plan, really? You know, nobody.
Yep.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode, It's Baker Publishing Group. If you're looking for your next summer read, check out Where the Road Bends from author Rachel Fordham. In a desperate bid to save her family's land, Norah King agrees to marry a man she barely knows. But just days before the wedding, she comes across a badly injured stranger who upends all her plans and steals her heart along the way. For more information on Rachel and her books, go to www.rachelfordham.com. That's www.rachelfordham.com.
I have another question about the book, because I know that the title has gone through some changes. Is that a publisher decision, or did you just feel like, oh, you know, maybe I'm done writing this, and, you know, kind of like going through it? Is this, you know, really it? So
It was a publisher decision. So probably half my books maybe have kept their working titles, what they like to call them, and then other ones have gotten changes. So this one its working title was My Road to You. So not totally different. I'm not really sure what the thinking was, but it wasn't they're wonderful. So if they're like, oh, here's the title we like, what do you think? I could have gone back and been like, I don't know because of this or that. But it wasn't so different from the original for me to care one way or the other. I did go back because I had already had a line in there that said something about my road to you, but I went back and made sure that there was a little nod to where the road bends in there, but I had to do that after because it was not originally in there. So yeah. But I'm happy with it. I think it fits.
Well, and I think it really does fit because like you said, it was the consequences of one choice. And so does the road bend this way? Does it bend that way? Or does it keep going straight? So I thought that was brilliant. So
yeah, no, I'm really happy with it, with all of it. I think it's fun. It makes you, I don't know, look at a bend in the road and just think maybe it's leading me somewhere good.
Yeah.
Ultimately, with a few bumps in the road.
So, okay. As someone who has dabbled in story writing myself, I know that this is almost an impossible question to ask because the whole thing is your baby. Right. But was there a certain section of the book or a certain chapter or a certain scene that you just couldn't stop smiling while you were writing it? Was there a part that stood out to you as your favorite to write, or one that meant the most to you, or something like that?
God, it's been a while since I wrote this one, but there are always moments. My husband always jokes because he's like, you have your writing face on now, because I'll be like, without meaning to, I'll like kind of like my face will show what I'm writing, whether it's like a sad or a happy or romantic scene, and he thinks it's hilarious, and he always tries to guess what I'm writing. But there were a lot of scenes. I think in particular, I really love, I don't know why, but I love the references to the vultures, and that I was able to have that come up more than once. It just sort of became this like mantra a little bit of like, and I also like thought that the little boy that shows up later is really funny, and I enjoyed his comic relief. So yeah, those are probably some of those moments, but I also really enjoyed, I don't know, like maybe just because it kind of gets your adrenaline going, but like some of the scenes where he got to step in and like be the hero. I don't, it's so hard not to give stuff away. But no, I actually, this book was easy for me to write. Some books are really hard, but I think because my husband was home and so he was with the kids all the time, I was able to write it in really big chunks of time versus like being pulled in and out of the this And so everything about writing it was a lot of fun. It was an escape from like what was going on in my real life. And so this one was, I could tell you some books that were not that experienced, but this one was just it was just a lot of fun to write.
So that little boy has a bit of a fostering storyline, which we know is a cause that's very dear to your heart. And I personally love that his name was Nels. Did you name him after Little House on the Prairie on purpose, or did that just come about?
Yeah, I don't really remember how his name came. I always try really hard with my main characters to make them like names that are not going to trip people up. They might not be the most popular name, but they're a name that is very easy to read. It's phonetic. It's just going to kind of flow. But with secondary characters, I really like trying to pull in some of those names that would have been common. And Iowa was really big with immigrants. Like there was just a lot of them. And so I was looking up names for people from different places just to try to give it a little bit more time period. I don't know. And so it just ended up being that name. And it worked. But yeah, I don't even always intend to have the like little orphan child or whatever, but they seem to keep popping up in my books. So I guess it's just sort of second nature to me. And it just, I think also like I knew I needed comic relief a little bit in this one because it was a little bit heavier in some moments. And so a child is just the perfect one to say, things to make people laugh and give it a little bit of heart. But I love I don't know, I'm getting all like on my soapbox, but I love it when people, whether they're characters or real life, step up and do the right thing for kids that need someone to do that for them. So that was fun to watch my characters grow as they cared about this kid.
Well, and may I also add that in addition to saying funny things, he set him out straight.
As kids do.
There was no beating around the bush with that kid.
He was funny, and it sort of was fun because I picture him sort of being like what my main character was like as a younger child. And so I think that in some ways it gives you insights into Quincy as well as this little boy. So
completely.
Definitely.
Well, with your other projects, have you considered doing a sequel to any of your books? Now, I mean, I know that Azure Springs and yours truly, Thomas, are kind of like coupleted together.
Right.
But what about the other 3?
Jess really wants a sequel to Lady in Attendance.
I need more Gilbert in my life.
More Gilbert.
I mean, for those who haven't listened to our other interviews, which you should, you all should know that Jess is not our romantic in this group, but that book made her swoon. Like,
it was life-changing. It was life-changing.
We didn't know who we were talking to.
I just remember messaging Rachel after I was done reading it, and I was like, I have a bone to pick with you because this character isn't real, and now I'm depressed.
We found her type.
A romantic dentist.
So if there are any other people who know dentists that are single and romantic
and kind of introverted, because that drew me to him as well.
I really, really loved writing him. So I get you. Like he was, I don't know. I mean, I hate to pick a favorite, but he's up there.
Well, your husband's a dentist, so
he is a dentist. He's not as introverted. I mean, definitely they have their differences, but he was a lot of fun to write. I loved writing him. It was fun to try to write a hero that sort of broke the mold. You know, he's quieter. It was like a challenge, but then it was just really satisfying to like have readers realize like this is an attractive, like desirable man right here, even though he's a little bit, you know, outside of your normal hero mode. Anyway, sequels, you know, on my own, I definitely could. I'm not sure that my publisher wants sequels. But I actually, speaking of a Lady in Attendance, I have this book that I like dream about, and I should write it, but it actually connects things from A Lady in Attendance with an earlier book really well, and I just should do it. But so I'll do it, and it'll be for you, Jess, one of these days.
I love it.
Okay, we are expecting the dedication to be to Jess, you know.
Yeah, it's always hard to pick. So now that one's settled, and now that'll be easy.
There you go.
So is there anything that you are looking forward to at Rama Drama, since we are all gathering together in just a few short weeks?
Yeah, for listeners who don't know, Rachel will be there.
Yes,
she's coming
for signing if you have her books. And are you having books there that people can buy as well?
I'm not sure that I'm going to have them to buy, but I talked to my publisher and said, I've just been so busy, I haven't figured out how to bring books and sell books. I said, what can I do? And they said, well, we'll give you a code for that weekend that anyone who buys them can get 40% off. And then I'm going to bring book plates. So I'll sign them. And then if you get your books later, you can stick them in there. So
that's great.
Yeah, so that should work.
So you get an autograph and a discount. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, I'll be bringing A Lady in Attendance.
Yes.
So, and
Yes,
I went
you
out and
will.
bought the physical copy because I only had the digital one. I'm like, no, I need a physical one. I need this one signed.
Okay. Yeah. So if you bring them, absolutely. So that'll be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to hanging out with all of you listeners, but also you three. I am excited to have a weekend with no kids. I love my kids. I have a lot of them, and I have a new foster baby who I adore with all of my heart, but it keeps me very busy. So I'm excited for that. But I tell you what, my husband and I joke around about how we don't watch very many shows more than once, but we're like, something about Signed, Sealed, Delivered, it's our happy place. And so I am, of course, looking forward to meeting the cast of that show and, you know, other people who will be there. But the Postables are my favorite. So, and all of the Postables that are coming. So, and it's funny because it was actually, when my second book, Yours Truly Thomas, came out, which starts out at the Dead Letter Office, is when I discovered Signed, Sealed, Delivered. And so I'm just, I don't know. I'm glad I wrote that book because it connected me to all of you guys.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We are very excited about the fact that you wrote a book that connects us to you, because that started me. That's the first one I read, was Yours Truly Thomas, because I had not heard your name before, and Jess told me about you, and now I'm hooked.
You're welcome, Cammie.
Yes, thank you very much. And, you know, not only am I hooked on your writing, we have a new friend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a similar experience because I kind of wrote off fiction for a long time because I was like, what I'm reading is not good.
No more fiction.
I finally, when we set up our first interview, obviously I had to read your book, and I was like, oh, okay. This is actually actually really, really good.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for bringing me back to reading fiction.
You know, I try to write what people will want, but I also try to write what I like, which is I love a story that at the end you feel like you just have this like happy sigh. But I don't know. I love it when there's a few layers of depth too, which is why I think Signed, Sealed, Delivered resonated with me so much, because it's obviously totally different time period, totally different characters, but I think there's a lot of the same, like, it's got the lighthearted moments, it's got the romantic, storylines, but then there's also always a little bit of a takeaway where you're like, oh, yeah,
I feel like you learn something by the end.
Yeah, I mean, it just touches your heart and makes you think about life a little bit differently. And that's, I mean, I'm leery of saying that because I don't think that my books fall in the preachy category at all, but I think that, but my characters get to deal with some hard things, and I think that they try to come out kind of like Oliver, like making the right choice even when it's hard. So
yeah.
That's the best kind of book, when you learn something from reading it without it having been preachy. So bravo.
Thank you.
Hey Hallmarkies, it's time to take a quick break to talk about something super fun. How would you like to party with your favorite celebrities from the Christmas and seasonal movies that you love so much? If you enjoy watching romantic dramas on network television and streaming services, you don't want to miss the Rama Drama live event coming soon in 2022. Spend the weekend escaping into the Rama Drama world and meeting your favorite on-screen celebrities like Trevor Donovan, Ryan Pavey, Andrew Walker, Wes Brown, Brittany Bristow, Erin Cahill, Rob Mays, and more. These fan-focused in-person parties cater to movie lovers just like you. Make memories, leave with photos, autographs, swag, and an exceptional experience to last a lifetime. Join us in West Palm Beach, Florida, June 24th through 26th. I know that is just a few weeks away, but it is not too late to get your ticket. You can find more information on buying tickets for these events on ramadrama.com. We hope to see you there, Hallmarkies.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast,
the Heartland TV show on Up, Faith and Family.
Fans of the hit family drama Heartland know that Up, Faith and Family is the only place to stream every season of Heartland, including behind-the-scenes exclusive content.
All 15 seasons of Heartland are available and ready to binge only in Up, Faith and Family.
And if you love Heartland, then you will love the dramatic new series Mystic.
Escape into a world of mysterious adventure, mystifying secrets and magical moments as we follow a group of horse-loving teens who are regulars at their local stables on the fictional peninsula of Calvary Point, New Zealand.
First 3 episodes of Mystic are now available to stream with a new episode every Thursday.
Go to upfaithandfamily.com upbeat.com/hallmarkies today to sign up for your 14-day free trial.
That's upfaithandfamily.com/hallmarkies.
Well, do you have any upcoming projects or anything coming
Yeah, I
down
have
the
like a whole bunch that I feel like are just kind of like they're sort of in the works, but I don't know what exactly is next. I have a contemporary that I wrote, which was a new experience for me, but I don't know, I just loved it. And so I have that one that I'm not sure what will happen with it. I have a historical that I haven't even like figured out how to summarize it up, but it's like a little bit of a Beauty and the Beast meets a factory town in the late 1800s meets roller skating meets meets. And then I actually just started a 1920s book, which is different for me, but and I actually like love my working title for it. It may change, but it's called The Letter Tree, and I think that's really cute. So
Bring out the flappers.
Right? Yes. So yeah, I'm always working on something. I have a bunch of new ideas. I'm hoping at Rama Drama that I'll be able to sneak off to my hotel room occasionally and write a few words while I'm there too. So
If we'll let you.
So
just
fun.
keep your little notebook next to you, so the second you have an idea, just jot it down.
Yeah, you guys can brainstorm one for me. Do the hard work for me, and then I'll just write it.
Oh, there you go. Boom.
Yeah.
So if you had to sum up where the road bends in a couple of words, maybe a sentence, what would you say? How would you sum that up?
Okay, that's a hard question, but let's just go for words. Then I don't have to put it in sentences. I think you've got okay, maybe not words. Okay.
Words are hard.
So we have like you guys help me out. So I think you've got a little bit of, it's like hopeful. Ultimately, I think it's very hopeful.
Redemptive.
It's romantic.
Redemptive.
Yeah, but the redemptive comes maybe after the heartbreak. So it's kind of it's got a little bit of everything. And I think that maybe is one of the reasons I love it, because you get to feel the highs and lows of the hardships of life, but sometimes that's what sometimes makes that happy ending just so satisfying, right? That it took, that life, had these bumps and bends in the road that ultimately lead two people together. So I love it, and I think you guys will too.
Yeah, we've all read it. I don't think Rachel can ever top A Lady in Attendance for me, but I put this one easily at my number 2 favorite. So I know everyone's gonna like it.
So I will also say that the friendship turned romance between Nora and Quincy is desirable, because a lot of times, you have a lot of different tropes where you have enemies to lovers, you have two random strangers who meet, but this one is just a solid, like they have a solid foundation, and it just really builds into something, and then you see like the push and the pull and the feelings and all the things. So that has my little romantic heart going pitter pat.
And as the most hopeless romantic of the group, may I say that the fact that they were friends first does not detract from the romance in this book. No. I loved your romantic scenes. They were beautiful, and they were just the right touch. They were just the right amount. It was beautiful. Made me sigh.
Oh, good. That's the goal. Good.
Yeah, so make sure you go out and pre-order. It's already available for pre-order. The book officially releases on June 7th. So go to Amazon or your local bookstore. Buy it.
And if you pre-order, usually they come like before, because that's happened multiple times that I've pre-ordered your books. They usually come like a few days before, and I'm like, look what I got.
I get to read it.
Speaking of books pre-ordering, Rachel, you have a bingo game in association with the book. Do you want to share a little bit about that and how people can join in?
Yeah, well, I got a lot of people saying, how are you going to celebrate the book? What are you going to do? And I just started thinking, what would be a fun way to include readers kind of in the launch of the book and the excitement, so that we could kind of share the excitement of the book coming out. And so we made a bingo board. It's on my website, rachelfordham.com, or you could find it if you scroll through my social media. And it's just really simple things. It's got like watch Persuasion, because there's a reference to that. Like tell a friend about the book, eat pea soup, and other. So there's a bunch of references from the book, and then a bunch of ways to like share and get excited with your friends. And all you have to do is it has my email on there. So you email me when you get a bingo, and then there's a whole bunch of prizes. I pick one a week, and a winner a week for the first couple months that it's out. Actually, I've already started, so some people are already doing it. And then there's like a grand prize for the blackout. And so people are having a lot of fun with it, and it just sort of makes us feel like we're celebrating together.
Ah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Rachel, where can people find you on social media so they can find this bingo game and start participating?
Oh, thank you. So probably the easiest way is just to go to rachelfordham.com. You can also sign up for my newsletter there. But I'm also on Facebook, just Rachel Fordham. I think it's, I don't know, / Rachel Fordham fans or something. And then on Instagram, I'm Rachel_Fordham. And I would love to connect. I always say this, but I really feel like one of the greatest things about being an author is that you write down these words and they come from your heart. And then you send them out into the world, and it like brings all these new people into your life. And I just love that like this little labor of love has brought all these friends and connections that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So come and say hi and join in. It'll be fun.
Yeah, and in addition to your Facebook page, you also have the group Rachel Fordham's Readers, the Page Turners, of which I am wearing a shirt that nobody can really see, but you can also join that group to stay in tune with updates as well.
Yeah.
Well, I just learned something new.
Tammy, why aren't you in the group? Come on.
Yeah,
now.
why aren't you in the group?
Because I
You would
didn't
be-
know about it.
You would be really
Yes,
helpful.
you did. We talked about this last 2 interviews we did with Rachel. I'm adding you to the group right now.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's fun because I'll sometimes jump on and be like, who wants to help me name a character, or things like that. So it's kind of it's a little bit more personal than the other stuff that's going on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to get to see you in person again. almost a year apart. It's so exciting.
Oh gosh. That's true.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Man,
I know. I'll be back in Florida. It's been a while, but thank you guys for having me and for always being, I don't know, fun, encouraging. And I think that what you guys do is great. So.
Well, we love talking to you. Okay, Jess, where can people find you?
You can find me at Jess BSW blog on Twitter and Instagram, or go to my website, beneathstillwaters.com. I mostly post book reviews there, but you can also find podcast stuff there as well.
Kaycee?
You can find me at Kaycee__Simpson on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Cami Drama Girl, Cami spelled Kami. And don't forget to follow the Hallmarkies podcast online, Hallmarkies Pod or Hallmarkies Podcast. Don't forget our merch store. We've got lots of really fun stuff to get you ready for the Postables Rama Drama. And we also have lots of fun stuff for all kinds of Hallmark lovers out there. Thank you so much, Rachel, again. We hope to see lots of you at Rama Drama, June 24th through 26th.
It's going to be a great time.
Yes, it's going to be a great time. Yeah.